We're now joined by Chase Elliott, driver of the number 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand and we'll get to you. We'll start in the back with Bob and then go to Dan.
I have a question first. Bob, you're always first, but everybody raises their hand at the same time.
Hey, I'm not in charge. You have to ask.
I understand. I'm just curious. I've always wondered that. Anyways, go ahead.
Maybe I'm not. We'll just start with questions.
Just go. Bob, just go.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm curious, A, have you talked to Alex? And B, I'm also curious, what do you get out of racing something else besides a cup car that would make the argument for, hey, we need to continue to be able to race outside here?
Yeah, I have talked to Alex, and, look, I know he's bummed. But I think that he it could have been a lot worse, right? So for me, number one, I'm just thankful that he's in a position where he's going to be able to get back to the team and be able to contribute 100% as he was before. So to me, just his health, really first and foremost. I know he's bummed and he's probably not feeling good, but I'm looking forward to having him back, and I think that's a big deal. As for what you get out of it, I think that depends on who you are, and I think that depends on your outlook on what you enjoy doing and what makes you happy. Alex enjoys racing sprint cars, and he likes building his cars and drift cars and midgets and going and racing that stuff, and that's a passion of his. And so I think for that reason it's meaningful to him, and I think that probably changes per who the individual is and what your outlook on things are. But I think for him, he seems to really enjoy all aspects of that stuff. I think it's a bit of his getaway, and I think that's important.
And how much concern is there on your end about what happened with the 5 car last week and the way the passenger side collapsed and the door bars coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not great, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you look at that thing. I haven't seen it in person. We tested Loudon this week. I wasn't at the shop on Monday, but from what I've heard and the pictures that I've seen, certainly a bit concerning on a multitude of levels. So I'm disappointed in that. Personally, last year it was like, well, we're not, the softer hits were a problem, but that's in preparation for a bigger hit being covered. And from the data that I heard, he was only doing 130. So what happens if he's doing 180 or 160? So yeah, I definitely think that's concerning, but I also think probably more of a conversation on how to move forward outside of this room, and we'll get it better where we can be productive on it and not just sit here and run my mouth.
We'll go to Dan and then to Marty.
Dan Gelston, Associated Press. Hey, Kyle, Jeff Andrews was just in here, and he said, 1, accident is, bad. 2, extracurricular activity accidents is not great. He said maybe there's a chance in the future he might have to look at what you guys do, whether it's racing or other activities. How concerned are you that there could be a change in what you guys are allowed to do, either personally in racing, and how might it affect you if they have to go forward with those kind of changes?
Yeah, I really don't see it changing. I think that it's obviously very, very poor timing with where I was at and just coming back, and obviously Alex being hurt this week. I mean, look, I get it. It's a bad look. I totally understand that. But also I understand that there is a timing piece of that, and it's just really poor timing. I mean, I think if one happened this year and the other happened next year, will we be having the same conversation? Probably not, really. I think them being back-to-back like that makes it look a little worse than the reality.
We'll go to Marty and then Nathan.
Marty Sakala, Rock Sports Net Race Pro Weekly. Chase, obviously you come in as the defending winner How much do you use from last year with the same aero package, I believe, that you move forward to this weekend?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't even know what aero package it is and what it isn't anymore. But, um, yeah, I mean, certainly, I'm sure the car is going to drive different just because at this point last year, there was still a lot of learning going on, and not that there's not still a lot of learning going on now, but I do think that people really progressed a lot through the second half of the season. So I anticipate it's going to feel different, and the car might have some different tendencies, but it's still going to be Dover, and it's still going to have those characteristics that come along with being at this racetrack and racing here. So I don't anticipate that changing a ton. But we'll see. You know, it's been a year since we've been here, and obviously a lot can happen in that amount of time. So we'll get on track and kind of see where we stack up and go from there.
And then last night, did I see that you were at Albany Saratoga Speedway in New York? And if so, did you enjoy it?
No, I was not. I was visiting a Napa store in Boston Spa, Saratoga Springs area. So, yeah.
We'll go to Nathan, and we'll go right next to him after that.
Nathan's on with the podium finish. Chase, just wanted to check in on how the leg is doing, and then you mentioned the tire test this week up at Loudon. Does doing those extra laps and getting those extra reps kind of help you build back that strength in the leg?
Yeah, I feel fine. I'm not, going on runs or doing sprinting drills, but I feel fine. I don't feel like it impacts me in the car at this point. Really, I didn't think it impacted me in the car at Martinsville either, and I'm certainly better than I was then. So it's just one of those things. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna have days where you don't get around great. That's gonna be part of it here for a little while, I think. But yeah, I think those extra reps are good, and we made a lot of laps, so that and I felt fine there on both days, and then the day after, yesterday being out of the car. So yeah, I feel good, and just ready to keep pushing forward.
David Hoffman, Speed Sport. Chase, just where do you feel your package is at, just with not only here this weekend, but going forward, just confidence-wise?
Well, for me personally, I'm just kind of getting back, really and truly. I mean, obviously, the HMS as a company has had a lot of success. When I was gone, I felt like they ran really good at Vegas. They ran really good at Phoenix. I thought they were okay at COTA. Atlanta obviously is a bit of a wash now, but Richmond obviously very, very strong there as well. So as a whole, I feel like the Chevrolet camp and Hendrick Motorsports as a whole has been strong. For me, we ran Martinsville, then went to Talladega. So we were okay at Martinsville. We certainly weren't anything special. We were really bad there for the majority of the day, but we qualified bad. We qualified bad and put ourselves in a tough spot, and you're going to start to see that narrative more. I think when you qualify bad, it's probably going to set you up for a long day. So, yeah, I think we're in a good place. I just got to get back in the rhythm of doing this stuff and getting going.
We're going to go to Dustin, Zach, and then Mark.
Dustin Albino, Jayski. Chase, you mentioned a couple minutes ago that it's still Dover. It's still got those tendencies. You got the 2 wins here. What is it about this place that kind of suits your driving style?
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest with you, but we ran pretty well here. I felt like on the Xfinity side too, and we've had some really solid runs, on the Cup front. Last year probably being one of our better runs, maybe our best run. But yeah, it's been been fortunate that this place has been a solid track for us over the last few years, and look, I hope that continues. We'll see, but I've enjoyed coming up here, and I wish that meant we were gonna guarantee me a good run tomorrow, but unfortunately that's not how it goes.
And then with Josh filling in for you those handful of races, how do you feel like he did with the team?
I thought he did great with the team, and that I know that not only did I think that from the outside, but then once I got back, everybody enjoyed working with him. And, I think you have to have that dynamic, and he's a guy that, he doesn't say a whole lot, but I kind of like that. He doesn't talk a ton, but he's certainly putting in the effort and putting in the work and thinking about things and dissecting what he feels and what he needs to do next. And I think he's gonna continue to build on that. Obviously he's gonna get a few more weeks here now, right, to run, and I think that's just gonna make him better and better and better. So I think he'll continue to run well, keep building on like his result at Richmond. I think he's gonna keep building on those things because he's a guy that he's learning a lot in a short period of time, and I think he's gonna apply that very quickly.
We're going to go to Zach, then Mark, and we're going to wrap with Davey.
Zach Sterniello, NASCAR.com. Chase, do you look at Dover as one of your better opportunities to win in the regular season to more safely secure your playoff position?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an opportunity. I mean, I think when we show up properly, I think about any given week can be a good opportunity for us, frankly. But certainly, as I referenced a second ago, this has been a good track for us. Does that guarantee tomorrow is going to go good? No, but I certainly hope so. But look, these races, a lot can happen, and a lot can happen out of your control, and you got to put it all together on the racetrack, on the pit box, on pit road. Everything has to be perfect. So that's a lot to put together, and I think it's a bit unfair to throw that all on one day and bet the house on it. That's just unrealistic. But I think that we can go and have a good run here, just like we can go and have a good run next week or the next 15 after that if we show up and do our part.
And then you've also, being out of the car this season, you saw Josh get that great result at Richmond. Now that Alex is in that position, I'm just curious, seeing someone else have such a great run in your car, what were the emotions of that day? Obviously, you're pulling for your guys to succeed, yeah, right? But just as a driver and as the primary driver who's on the sideline, what goes through your mind during a moment like that?
Yeah, I mean, I was really kind of at that point. I was past the weird space of seeing my car. My car. It's not really my car. It's really Rick's car, right? But seeing the Napa 9 car go around the track, I was kind of past that weird space of it, and was really just excited to see them do good. They deserve it, in my opinion. And I've been telling y'all in here for a long time that team's really, really good. They make me look a lot better than I really am. So I was hoping that maybe y'all would start to believe me on that over the period of me being out, because it's very true.
We'll go to Mark and then wrap with Davey.
That's a tough one to follow. Mark Garrow with PRN. Chase, just following up a little bit on Zach's question, do you take more risks? You're obviously, with the medical waiver, top 30 in points, that's going to be a given. So do you take risk to win as if you already had a win in your pocket kind of thing? Do you, like Kyle Busch last week, he could take the gamble because he was already – you guys need that win. So is the mentality win and take the gambles necessary, or do you keep chopping away at the points and maybe get to the 16th spot?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been keeping up with it closely, but that's pretty far-fetched, I would say. I mean, even if we run really well, but
you're 120 points out of
yeah, I mean that's a good chunk. Not impossible, but we'd have to have a summer stretch like we did last year to do that, which was a really good stretch for us. Really, our mindset is no different this week than it was last week. I feel like we have to win, and if you're putting yourself in position to win races, I think it's probably going to work itself out. And on the other side of that coin, if you're not putting yourself in position to win races for at least once or twice in the next 16 weeks, then I'd say you're not going to win the championship anyway. So does it really matter at the end of the day, right? I mean, it matters, obviously, but like when you step back and look at it, if you're not in contention at least a couple times, I'd say you thinking you have a shot to go win Phoenix is probably a little unrealistic.
All right, we'll wrap with Davey.
Davey Siegel with SiriusXM and Racer. We hear a lot about the physicality of this racetrack and how it kind of just moves you around in the seat and how you're pretty worn out and whipped after a race here. How much of that physicality is on your lower extremities and specifically your leg? How you think that's going to be affected here?
I don't think it will be a whole lot. Fortunately, my knee and just kind of where it sits in the car is in a really secure position. And even before the injury, the way I kind of had all my stuff set up, my left, like where my knee is, doesn't move laterally. So, or it's designed not to move laterally. At least, in a normal circumstance. Obviously, crashing could be something different, but so that being said, no, I don't foresee it being any more difficult than, say, a Martinsville or Loudon test where you're using the brakes and kind of pushing your car from that perspective. So no, I don't. I could be wrong, but I don't anticipate that.
And I noticed you shaved your stash. Why'd you do that?
Yeah, I what did he say?
He said,
"Oh, no, not quite." But no, I woke up the other morning and I was just kind of tired of eating breakfast and having to clean it off. So I went upstairs and took a shower and off it went. There was that much thought went into it. It was that simple. It was time.
And with that, thank you, Chase.
Yeah.
Good luck this weekend.